I'm Garrett, 36, software engineer, married to Vanessa for 11 years, and at my own birthday party. I heard her tell her friends she couldn't wait for me to die. Let me back up. It was supposed to be a quiet Thursday. I'd told Vanessa I didn't want anything big this year. Just dinner, maybe a movie. She'd smiled and said, "Of course, babe. Whatever you want." I should have known better. I pulled into our driveway at 6:15. The porch light was on, but the house looked dark. Normal. I grabbed my laptop bag from the back seat, keys in hand, and pushed open the front door. Surprise. 30 people exploded out of nowhere. Confetti cannons. Balloons everywhere. Someone started singing Happy Birthday off-key. I nearly dropped my laptop. Vanessa rushed toward me, arms wide. That megawatt smile plastered across her face. She threw her arms around my neck and kissed me hard, right in front of everyone. Cameras flashed. Her friends cheered. "Happy birthday, baby," she said, loud enough for the room to hear. "I know you said no party, but I couldn't help myself. You deserve this." I looked around. Our living room was packed. Co-workers I barely talked to. Vanessa's college friends. Neighbors. People I didn't even recognize. The dining table was covered in food. A massive cake sat in the center, decorated with edible code symbols. Little inside joke about my job. "Wow," I said, forcing a smile. "This is a lot. Only the best for you." She kissed me again, then grabbed my hand and pulled me into crowd. "Everyone get a drink. Mingle. We're celebrating." For the next 2 hours, I played the part, shook hands, accepted birthday wishes from people who wouldn't remember my name tomorrow, posed for photos with Vanessa draped over my shoulder, her smile never faltering. She was perfect, the doting wife, laughing at my jokes, refilling drinks, posting Instagram stories with captions like 11 years with my best friend and so lucky to celebrate this man. I started to feel guilty for ever doubting her. Around 8:30, my phone battery died. I excused myself from a conversation about quarterly reports and slipped upstairs to grab my charger from the bedroom. The hallway was quieter. Muffled music thumped below. I pushed open our bedroom door and flicked on the light. That's when I heard them. Female voices, coming from our bathroom. The door was closed, but not all the way, just cracked open an inch. Enough for sound to pour out. I froze. "Seriously, Ness, how do you do it?" One voice said. I recognized it. Shayla, Vanessa's best friend since college. Vanessa laughed. A real laugh. Not the fake one she'd been using downstairs. "Do what?" "Pretend like you're happy. I mean, we all know you can't stand him." My hand tightened on the doorframe. "Oh my God, you have no idea." Vanessa's voice was slurred. "Drunk. His presence literally irritates me. Like, I come home and just seeing him sitting there on the couch makes my skin crawl. I'm counting down the days, I swear." Another voice chimed in. "Becca, maybe. Counting down to what?" "I don't know. Until he just disappears. Like, God, I wish he'd just vanish forever. Or get hit by a bus or something." She giggled. Actually giggled. "Is that horrible?" They all laughed. My chest went tight. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. "Girl, if you hate him that much, why don't you just leave?" Shayla asked. There was a pause. A long one. Then Vanessa sighed, like the question exhausted her. "And give up this house? His salary? Are you kidding me? Do you know how much software engineers make? I'm not stupid. I'm waiting it out." "Waiting for what?" "I don't know. A promotion. A buyout. Something that gets me a bigger payout. When I finally pull the plug. Or maybe he'll just, I don't know, keel over from stress. He works himself half to death anyway." More laughter. Light. Casual. Like they were discussing the weather. I stood there in my own bedroom, at my own birthday party, listening to my wife of 11 years wish for my death. My hands went numb. My vision blurred at the edges. One of them said something else, but I didn't hear it. The words turned into static. I don't remember walking back to the hallway. Don't remember closing the bedroom door. But suddenly I was standing at the top of the stairs, staring down at the party below. Vanessa emerged from the bathroom a minute later, reapplying lipstick. She saw me and smiled. That same bright, empty smile. "There you are. Come on, babe. We're about to cut the cake." I nodded. My face felt like stone. We walked downstairs together. She slipped her hand into mine. Squeezed. I squeezed back. Everyone gathered around the dining table. Someone dimmed the lights. Vanessa lit the candles. 36 of them, crowded onto the cake like a fire hazard. The room started singing. I stood there, smiling, listening to people who didn't know me sing to a man who didn't exist anymore. Vanessa leaned into me, resting her head on my shoulder. Her hair smelled like vanilla. She whispered, "Make a wish, babe." I looked down at the candles, at the flames flickering in the dark. And I did. I wished for her to get exactly what she wanted. I blew out the candles. Everyone cheered. Vanessa kissed my cheek. Cameras flashed again. I cut the cake with her hand over mine, guiding the knife. We fed each other the first slice. She laughed. I laughed. And somewhere deep in my chest, something locked into place. Cold. Final. Decided. She wanted me to disappear? Fine. I'd give her the greatest disappearing act she'd ever seen. She wanted me gone? Fine. But first, I needed to know why she was really staying. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. I lay next to Vanessa in our bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. She'd come to bed around 2, stumbling drunk, mumbling something about what a great party it was. She had no idea I'd heard her. At 6 in the morning, my alarm went off. I got up, showered, got dressed. Normal Friday routine. Vanessa groaned and rolled over, pulling the pillow over her head. I went downstairs and made coffee. 2 cups, 1 black for me, 1 with cream and sugar for her, exactly how she liked it. I brought it up to the bedroom, set it on her nightstand. "Morning," I said softly. She cracked one eye open. Her makeup was smudged, hair everywhere. She looked miserable. Ugh, my head. She reached for the coffee without looking at me, took a sip, didn't say thank you, just closed her eyes again. "Fun party," I said. Yeah. She waved her hand vaguely. "Go to work. I'll clean up later." I stood there for a second, watching her. This woman I'd spent 11 years with. This stranger. "Okay," I said. "Feel better." She didn't respond. I grabbed my laptop bag and left. But I didn't go to work. I drove to a coffee shop 3 towns over. Somewhere nobody would recognize me. I ordered an espresso, sat in the corner, and opened my laptop. First search, Private Investigator Portland. I scrolled through a dozen websites. Most of them looked sketchy. Stock photos. Generic language about discreet surveillance and infidelity cases. I didn't need someone to catch Vanessa cheating. I already knew she wasn't. She hated me, but she wasn't sneaking around. She was too lazy for an affair. Too comfortable. I needed something else. I needed to know what she was hiding. I found a firm called Clearview Investigations. No flashy website. Just a clean interface and a testimonial from a divorce lawyer. That felt promising. I called the number. A woman answered on the second ring. "Clearview, this is Dana." "Hi, I need to hire someone." "For what kind of case?" I hesitated. "My wife, but not for cheating. I need financial records. Phone logs, daily routine, everything." There was a pause. "You think she's hiding assets?" "I think she's hiding something. I just don't know what yet." "Okay, we can do that. It'll take about a week, maybe less. Standard rate is $3,000 up front." I didn't even blink. "Done. When can we start?" "Today." I gave her Vanessa's full name, her phone number, her car's license plate. I sent over our bank account info, credit card statements, anything I could access from my phone. Dana asked a few more questions. Where Vanessa worked, who her close friends were, if I'd noticed any unusual behavior. I told her everything except the part about the bathroom conversation. That felt too raw, too humiliating. "We'll be in touch," Dana said. "Check your email in a week." I hung up and sat there, staring at my phone. What was I doing? No, I knew exactly what I was doing. I was taking control. For the next 7 days, I played the role of the perfect husband. I came home on time, kissed Vanessa hello, asked about her day. She barely looked up from her phone most nights. We ate dinner in silence. She scrolled through Instagram while I cleaned the dishes. On Wednesday, she mentioned her brother. Colton called today. She said casually, stabbing at her salad. He's doing better. I looked up. Yeah, that's good. What's he up to? Same stuff. Freelance work. You know how it is. I didn't. Colton was 32 and hadn't held a steady job in 5 years. Vanessa always made excuses for him. Said he was figuring things out. Good for him, I said. She nodded and went back to her phone. I said nothing. On Friday morning, exactly 1 week after I'd hired Dana, an email appeared in my inbox. Subject line, report ready. I was sitting in my car in the office parking lot. I'd gotten there early, hadn't gone inside yet. I clicked the email. There was a PDF attached, 23 pages. I opened it. The first 5 pages were routine. Vanessa's daily schedule. Morning coffee at the same cafe. Lunch with friends twice that week. Yoga class on Tuesday and Thursday. Nothing suspicious. Page 6 was phone logs. Texts and calls. Lots of communication with her friends. A few calls to her mom. Several texts to Colton. Nothing alarming. Then page 7. Financial records. I scrolled slowly, reading every line. And then I saw it. A loan. Taken out 8 months ago. $85,000. In my name. My heart stopped. I stared at the screen. Read the line again. The signature at the bottom of the loan document was mine, except I'd never signed it. I scrolled further. Another loan. 6 months ago. $40,000. Same signature. I hadn't signed that one either. My hand started shaking. Page 8 showed where the money went. Wire transfers. All of them to the same account. An account under Colton's name. $85,000. $40,000. $15,000. $10,000. Over the past 2 years, Vanessa had funneled more than $150,000 to her brother, using my name, my credit, my signature. I couldn't breathe. Page 9 had notes from Dana. Short, clinical. Subject's brother, Colton Hayes, has documented gambling debt, multiple creditors, 2 lawsuits pending in small claims court. Subject appears to be covering his debts using loans taken out in spouse's name without consent. Signature forgery, likely. I sat there in my car, staring at my phone, feeling something crack open inside my chest. This wasn't about love. This wasn't even about hate. It was about money. I was a paycheck, a credit score, a human ATM machine she could drain. Whenever her useless brother got himself into trouble, she didn't want me gone. She wanted me working, paying, existing quietly in the background while she kept me broke and exhausted. I thought about the bathroom conversation again, her laughing with her friends, wishing I'd disappear. But not really. She didn't want me dead. She wanted me useful, a ghost of my own life. Too tired to ask questions, too trusting to check the accounts. I closed the email, opened a new browser tab, and started searching for something else entirely. How to fake your own death. I scrolled through Reddit threads, true crime forums, articles about people who'd vanished and started over. It wasn't hard, not if you planned it right. And I had time. I had clarity. Vanessa thought she was playing me, thought I was too stupid, too boring, too distracted to notice. She was wrong. I took a breath, closed the browser, deleted my search history. Then I texted my boss. Family emergency. Taking PTO next week. He replied immediately. No problem. Hope everything's okay. It wasn't, but it would be. I looked at my reflection in the rear-view mirror. Same face, same tired eyes. But something underneath had changed. Vanessa wanted me to disappear so she could keep bleeding me dry. Fine, I'd disappear. But when I did, I'd take everything with me, and she'd be the one left with nothing. They say everyone shows who they really are at a funeral. Vanessa showed me mine. It took me 3 days to set everything up. First, I withdrew $5,000 in cash from an account Vanessa didn't know about. Old savings from before we got married. I kept it separate, just in case. Turns out, just in case it was now. Second, I rented a car. Not from a big chain. Too many cameras. Too much paperwork. I found a guy on Craigslist who rented out his Honda Civic for $200 a day. No questions asked. I gave him a fake name. Paid cash. He didn't even look at my ID. Third, I called in sick to work. Told my boss I had the flu. I needed a few days. He said take all the time I need. I wasn't coming back. On Wednesday morning, I kissed Vanessa goodbye like it was any other day. She was on her phone, scrolling through something. Barely looked up. I walked out the door with a backpack, one change of clothes, my laptop, the cash, a burner phone I bought at a gas station the night before. That's all I needed. I drove 2 hours north to Crescent Lake. Remote, forested, the kind of place hikers went missing and didn't get found for weeks. Perfect. I parked the Honda at the edge of the water, got out, took off my shoes and left them on the shore, positioned like I'd walk straight into the lake. I left my wallet on the driver's seat. My phone on the dashboard screen cracked from where I'd thrown it against a tree. It needed to look real. I took one last look at the car, at the lake, at the life I was about to leave behind. Then I walked 2 miles through the woods to a motel I'd scoped out the week before. The kind of place that took cash and didn't ask for ID if you paid double. I checked in under the name Mike Turner. The guy at the front desk handed me a key without looking up from his magazine. Room 12, second floor, window overlooking the parking lot. I locked the door, sat on the bed, and I waited. At 4 p.m., I used a burner phone to call 911 from a payphone outside a gas station 3 miles away. I disguised my voice, make it higher, shaky. I think I saw a car by Crescent Lake. I said, doors open. Shoes on the shore. No one was around. It looked wrong. The operator asked for my name. I hung up. By 6 p.m., it was on the local news. I watched from my motel room, laptop open, streaming the live broadcast. Breaking news tonight. Search and rescue teams are combing Crescent Lake after an abandoned vehicle was discovered earlier this evening. Authorities say the car belongs to 36-year-old Garrett Brennan, a software engineer from Portland. His wallet and phone were found inside the vehicle, and a pair of shoes was discovered on the shore. Brennan is now considered missing and feared drowned. They showed a photo of me, my driver's license picture. I looked tired in it, older than I felt. If you have any information about Garrett Brennan's whereabouts, please contact local authorities immediately. I closed the laptop. It was done. Now I just had to wait and see who Vanessa really was. I didn't have to wait long. My friend Kyle, one of the only people I'd told about the plan, set up a system where he could forward me updates, police reports, social media posts, even audio from the interviews if he could get it. Kyle was a tech guy. I worked in cybersecurity. He owed me a favor from years ago when I'd helped him out of a bad situation. He didn't ask questions. Just said, "This is insane, man." But okay. At 8 p.m., the police knocked on Vanessa's door. Kyle sent me the Ring camera footage from our front porch. 2 officers, a man and a woman. Both looked serious. Vanessa opened the door in yoga pants and a sweatshirt. Hair up, no makeup. "Vanessa Brennan?" the male officer said. "Yes." "Can we come in? It's about your husband." Her face changed. Confusion. Then fear. Real fear. "What? What happened? Is he okay?" They didn't answer. Just stepped inside. Kyle couldn't get audio from inside the house, but he got the aftermath. Vanessa called my parents 20 minutes later. I listened to the voicemail. She left my mom. She was sobbing. Hysterical. "He's missing. They found his car by a lake. They think he... Oh, God. They think he drowned. I don't know what to do. Please call me, please." Her voice cracked. Broke. She sounded destroyed. I sat there in that motel room, listening to her cry, and I felt nothing. She posted on Facebook an hour later. The post had a photo of us from our wedding, both of us smiling, young, happy. The caption read, "I can't believe this is happening. Garrett is missing. He's my soulmate, my everything. I can't breathe without him. Please, if anyone knows anything, please come forward. I just want him home." 300 comments in an hour. Friends, family, co-workers, everyone offering condolences, prayers, support. Vanessa replied to every single one. "Thank you so much. I'm trying to stay strong. I just need him back." She was performing, playing the grieving wife to perfection, and maybe part of her even believed it, but I knew better. On day 2, Kyle sent me an audio file. He'd managed to tap into the police interview through a contact he had in the department. Vanessa was at the station, answering questions. The detective's voice was calm, professional. "Mrs. Brennan, we need to ask you a few questions about your husband's state of mind. Had he been depressed? Anxious?" "No," Vanessa said. Her voice was raw. "Tired. I mean, he worked a lot. He was stressed. But he wouldn't. Was there anything unusual about his behavior in the days before he disappeared?" A pause. "No. Everything was normal. Any marital problems?" "No. We were fine. We were happy." Liar. "Okay, one more thing." The detective's tone shifted, softer, almost apologetic. "I know this is difficult, but we need to cover all the bases. Do you know if your husband had a life insurance policy?" There it was. Vanessa sniffled. Yes, he does. Through his work." "Do you know the amount?" Another pause. Longer this time. "I think $500,000. My stomach turned. And when she stopped, cleared her throat. "When would that? I mean, how does that work? If they don't find." She couldn't even finish the sentence. The detective's voice was gentle. "Typically, there's a waiting period. 7 years in most states for a presumed death without a body. But if we recover remains, that timeline accelerates. We'll know more in the coming days." "Okay," Vanessa whispered. "Okay, thank you." I ripped the earbuds out. She'd asked about the life insurance. On day 2, not how long will the search last, or what are his chances, or is there anything I can do? No, when can I access the payout? I sat there on that motel bed, hands shaking, feeling something cold and final settle in my chest. Disgust. She wasn't mourning me. She was calculating. The next 3 days crawled by. The search continued. Divers, dogs, helicopters. Local news covered it every night. Still no sign of missing Portland man. Vanessa did more interviews, cried on camera, begged for anyone with information to come forward. She even started a GoFundMe. Help us bring Garrett home. $5,000 raised in 48 hours. She pocketed every cent. On day 5, the police called off the search. No body recovered, the news anchor said. But authorities are now classifying this as a presumed drowning. Garrett Brennan is considered deceased. I watched Vanessa's reaction on her Instagram story. She filmed herself in our bedroom, eyes red, makeup smudged. "They're calling off the search," she said, voice shaking. They think he's gone. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to say goodbye." She broke down, sobbing into her hands. The comments flooded in. "We love you. Stay strong. He's watching over you." She hearted every single one. That night, she called my brother, Travis. Kyle sent me the recording. "Travis, I need to start planning a memorial," Vanessa said. Her voice was steadier now, businesslike. "I think we should do it soon. Before people forget. Before people forget." Travis was quiet for a moment. Then, "Vanessa, I need to tell you something." "What?" "Garrett updated his will 3 weeks ago." Silence. "What do you mean?" she said slowly. "He came to my office. Had me draft a new will. Very specific instructions." "What kind of instructions?" Travis hesitated. "I can't discuss details over the phone. But you should know, you're not the primary beneficiary anymore." The line went dead silent. Then what? I'll send you a copy tomorrow. But Vanessa, you need to prepare yourself. She hung up without saying goodbye. I sat there in that motel room, 40 miles away, and I smiled for the first time in 5 days, because Vanessa was about to learn the truth. I hadn't just disappeared. I'd made sure she'd lose everything. Turns out I'd updated my will 3 days before I died. She just didn't know it yet. Travis wasn't lying when he told Vanessa the will had changed. I'd gone to his office 2 weeks after I hired the private investigator. Told him I needed to revise everything. He looked at me across his desk, concerned. Garrett, is everything okay? You look. I'm fine. I just need to make some changes. He didn't push. That's why I'd chosen him. Travis knew when to shut up and do his job. I'd been very specific about the instructions. Everything, the house, the savings accounts, the 401k, the life insurance policy, went to my parents. Vanessa got $1 and a note. Travis had tried to talk me out of it, said it would cause problems, legal challenges, family drama. That's the point, I told him. He'd sighed, printed the documents. I signed. 3 days later, I disappeared. Now, a week after they called off the search, Travis called meeting. Kyle sent me the details. Friday afternoon, Travis's office. Vanessa, my parents, and Vanessa's parents were all invited. Official reading of the will. I watched the live stream from my laptop. Kyle had set up a hidden camera in Travis's office weeks ago. Tiny thing, tucked into a bookshelf. Undetectable. The video quality was grainy, but I could see everything. Vanessa arrived first. Black dress, hair pulled back, minimal makeup. She looked tired, smaller somehow. My parents came next. My mom's eyes were red. She'd been crying for days. My dad looked hollow. He'd aged 10 years in a week. Guilt twisted in my stomach. Then Vanessa's parents. Her mom, Patricia, clutched the tissue. Her dad, Leonard, had his jaw set. Stoic. They all sat down. No one spoke. Travis entered last. He carried a folder, looked around the room. His expression was unreadable. Thank you all for coming, he said. I know this is incredibly difficult, but Garrett left very clear instructions, and I'm legally obligated to execute them. Vanessa nodded, wiped her eyes. Travis opened the folder. I'll start with the assets. The house at 4217 Maple Street. Current value approximately $600,000 is to be transferred to Robert and Linda Brennan. My parents. Vanessa blinked. Wait, what? The joint savings account, the checking account, and all associated funds, totaling approximately $90,000, also go to Robert and Linda Brennan. Hold on. The 401k, valued at $230,000, goes to Robert and Linda Brennan. The life insurance policy through Garrett's employer, valued at $500,000, goes to Robert and Linda Brennan. Vanessa stood up. This is wrong. I'm his wife. Everything should. Please sit down, Mrs. Brennan. She didn't sit. There's a mistake. Garrett wouldn't. We talk about this, he said. Travis looked at her. Garrett updated his will on September 19th, 3 weeks ago. He was very clear about his intentions. What do I get? Her voice cracked. What did he leave me? Travis turned a page. You are entitled to $1. And this note. He slid a folded piece of paper across the desk. Vanessa grabbed it, opened it with shaking hands. I knew what it said. I'd written it myself. For the wife who wished I'd disappear. Her face went white. She read it again, then looked up at Travis. At my parents. At her own parents. This is a joke. This isn't real. He didn't. It's legally binding, Travis said quietly, witnessed and notarized. But I'm his wife. You can't just, I have rights. My dad spoke for the first time. His voice was cold. Flat. Did you know about this, Vanessa? Know about what? About what Garrett was feeling, what he was going through. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. No, I don't understand. Everything was fine. We were happy. Liar. My mom stood up, walked over to Vanessa. I thought she was going to hug her, comfort her. Instead, she said, "You don't get to cry now." Vanessa's mouth fell open. "I know my son," my mom continued. "He wouldn't do this without a reason. So tell me, Vanessa, what did you do?" "I didn't do anything." "You're lying." Vanessa turned to her own mother. "Mom, please, tell them. Tell them I loved him." Patricia looked away. Leonard cleared his throat. "Vanessa, maybe we should talk privately." Vanessa's phone buzzed. She ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. She pulled it out, glanced at the screen, and her face changed. Text messages. From Colton. I couldn't see what they said, but I didn't need to. Kyle had intercepted them and sent them to me minutes earlier. "What about the money you promised me?" "They're coming for me, Ness. I need that cash now." "You said you'd take care of it." "You said." Vanessa's hands trembled. She typed something back. Fast. Frantic. Then she made a mistake. She forwarded Colton's text to someone. Probably meant to send them to a friend. Someone who could help. But she didn't check the recipient. She hit reply all on an email chain Travis had sent out earlier that week. The one about the will reading. Everyone in the room got the message. My mom's phone buzzed. So did my dad's. Patricia's. Leonard's. Travis's. They all looked down. Read. My mom's face went hard. "What is this?" Vanessa realized what she'd done. No, I didn't mean. "What loans?" My dad said. He was reading his phone. Scrolling. "What is Colton talking about?" Travis was already pulling up records on his computer. His face went grim. "There are 3 loans under Garrett's name, taken out over the past 2 years. Total value, $153,000. Vanessa backed toward the door. "I can explain." "You forged his signature," Travis said. "Not a question. A statement. Colton needed help. He was in trouble. I didn't. I was going to pay it back." My dad stood up, towered over her. "You stole from my son while he was alive, and now you're trying to steal from him in death. It's not like that. Get out." Vanessa looked at her parents. Desperate. "Mom, Dad, please." Leonard's jaw tightened. He shook his head. Slowly. Patricia wouldn't even look at her. "Get out," my dad said again. Vanessa ran. The door slammed behind her. I sat in my motel room, watching the empty conference room on my screen. My parents holding each other. Travis rubbing his face. Vanessa's parents standing in stunned silence. I'd won. Everything I'd planned had worked perfectly. So why'd I feel sick? The memorial was scheduled for Saturday. Small ceremony at a church near my parents' house. Vanessa wasn't invited. Kyle sent me photos. 50 people showed up. Co-workers, friends, extended family. Everyone dressed in black. My mom gave a eulogy. She talked about me as a kid, how I'd always been quiet, thoughtful, how I'd loved solving problems, fixing things. She broke down halfway through. My dad had to finish for her. There was no body, no casket, just a photo of me on an easel at the front of the church. The same driver's license photo they'd used on the news. I looked tired in it. I felt tired now. Vanessa didn't come, but I knew she was watching. Kyle told me she'd parked across the street, sat in her car for an hour, crying. She didn't go inside. At the end of the service, people filed out, hugged my parents, offered condolences. And I made a decision. This had gone far enough. On Sunday morning, I shaved, put on clean clothes, drove the rental car back to Portland. I parked 2 blocks from the church, walked the rest of the way. The building was empty, just a few staff cleaning up from yesterday. I pushed open the door, and I walked inside. You should have seen her face when I walked through those church doors. The memorial had ended yesterday, but my parents had arranged a small family gathering for Sunday afternoon. Final goodbyes, a chance to share memories. Kyle had told me they'd be there. My parents, my brother Travis, a few aunts and uncles, maybe a dozen people total. Vanessa wasn't invited, but I knew she'd come anyway. I pushed open the heavy wooden door. It creaked. Several heads turned. My mom saw me first. Her hand flew to her mouth. She made a sound, half gasp, half scream. Then she collapsed. My dad caught her before she hit the ground. Linda, Linda, I've got you. But she wasn't looking at him. She was staring at me. Everyone was staring. Travis dropped his coffee cup. It shattered on the floor. My Uncle Dan back against the wall. It can't be. I stepped fully into the room, closed the door behind me. Hi, Mom, I said quietly. She started crying. Huge, shaking sobs. My dad held her up, but his face had gone completely white. Garrett, his voice cracked. Are you? I'm alive. Chaos. Everyone started talking at once, shouting. My Aunt Karen actually screamed. Travis just stood there, frozen, staring at me like I was a ghost. And then I heard it, a voice from the back of the room. Oh my God! Vanessa. She'd been standing in the corner, half hidden, probably hoping no one would notice her. Now she was pressed against the wall, face drained of all color. Our eyes met. I walked toward her, slowly. The room went quiet. Hello, Vanessa. She couldn't speak, just shook her head, over and over. I'm not dead, I said calmly. I just needed to disappear long enough to see who you really were. You faked. She couldn't get the words out. My mom found her voice. Garrett, what is happening? We thought, we buried, we mourned. I know, and I'm sorry. I turned to face everyone. I'm sorry for what I put you through, but I had to do this. Why? My dad said. His voice was hard, angry. Why would you do this to us? I pulled out my phone, opened the folder Kyle had organized for me, because I needed proof. I handed the phone to Travis. Read it out loud. He looked at the screen. His expression changed, darkened. This is a private investigator's report? Yes. Keep reading. Travis scrolled. His jaw tightened. Loan documents. Forged signatures. Wire transfers to Colton Hayes. He looked up at Vanessa. You stole from him. Vanessa pushed off the wall. I didn't steal. I was helping my brother. With my money, I said. My name. My credit. Without my knowledge. For 2 years. My mom's tears stopped. She looked at Vanessa with something new in her eyes. Something cold. There's more, I said. I pulled up the audio file. The one from my birthday party. Listen. I pressed play. Vanessa's voice filled the church. Drunk. Laughing. His presence literally irritates me. I wish he'd just disappear forever. Or I don't know, get hit by a bus. Her friends laughing. Why don't you just leave him? And give up this house? His salary? Please. I'm waiting it out. I stopped the recording. The room was silent. My mom's face crumpled. Vanessa, how could you? I was drunk. Vanessa shouted. I didn't mean it. I was just venting to my friends. People say things they don't mean all the time. For 2 years. I said quietly. You said things you didn't mean for 2 years while you forged my signature and drained my accounts? She turned on me, eyes wild. Desperate, you faked your death. You let everyone think you were dead. You let your parents grieve. You're insane. Actually, a new voice said from the doorway. He didn't. Travis stepped forward. Garrett never filed a death certificate. He never claimed to be deceased. He was just missing, and now he's back. That's the same thing. Legally, it's not. Travis looked at me. You planned this. Yes. The will, the timing, everything. Yes. Vanessa lunged toward me. My dad grabbed her arm. You're a monster, she screamed. You destroyed my life. You turned everyone against me. I didn't destroy anything, I said. I just stopped paying for it. She jerked away from my dad, pulled out her phone. I'm calling the police. You committed fraud. You filed false reports. You. Go ahead, I said. Call them. She hesitated. In fact, I continued, let me save you the trouble. I nodded toward the door. Two police officers walked in. Vanessa's face went slack. "Vanessa Brennan?" the female officer said. "Ah, yes. You're under arrest for identity theft, forgery, and fraud." She pulled out handcuffs. "You have the right to remain silent." "Wait, no, this isn't." Vanessa looked around the room wildly. "Someone tell them. This is wrong. He's the one who—" "Ma'am, please turn around." The officer cuffed her. Vanessa's eyes found mine, and something in her broke. The performance dropped. The desperation faded. All that was left was regret. "I didn't mean what I said that night," she whispered. "At the party. I was drunk. I was stupid. But I didn't mean it." I looked at her for a long moment. "Yes, you did." She started crying. "You meant every word." I continued. "You wished I would disappear. You wished I would die. You wished you could have my money without having to look at me. And I gave you exactly what you wanted. Garrett, me, gone. Please. You just didn't expect me to take everything with me." The officers led her toward the door. She didn't resist, just kept crying, quiet, broken sobs. At the threshold, she stopped, turned back. "I loved you once," she said. "I know you don't believe me, but I did, once." "I know," I said, "and then you stopped, and you didn't have the decency to tell me. You just decided to wait me out, use me up, until I was gone. I'm sorry. So am I." They took her away. The room stayed quiet for a long time after the door closed. My mom was the first to move. She walked over to me, slowly, like she was afraid I might vanish again. Then she slapped me, hard. "Don't you ever do that again," she said, voice shaking. "Do you understand me? Ever." Then she hugged me. I hugged her back. And for the first time in 2 weeks, I felt something other than cold calculation. I felt human again. My dad joined the hug. Then Travis. Then my Aunt Karen. Everyone crowding around me, touching me, making sure I was real. "I'm sorry," I said into my mom's shoulder. "I'm so sorry." "We'll deal with it," she said. "We'll figure it out. But right now you're alive. That's all that matters." The police called me in for questioning later that day. I spent 3 hours explaining everything. The loans, the forgery, the recordings, the fake disappearance. They asked if I wanted to press charges against Vanessa. "I already did," I said, 2 days ago, before I came back. The detective looked at me. "You planned every step of this." "Yes." "Why?" I thought about it. Because I needed to know the truth. And she never would have told me. "You could have just left, filed for divorce." She would have taken half of everything, claimed I abandoned her, played the victim. This way, I stopped. This way everyone knows who she really is. The detective nodded slowly. "Can't say I blame you. But son, faking your death is dangerous. People get arrested for less." "I didn't fake my death. I just went missing." He almost smiled. Smart. Vanessa's brother Colton turned himself in a week later. Couldn't handle the pressure. Couldn't pay back the debts. The gambling had destroyed him. He got 3 years. Vanessa got 5. I moved out of Portland. Couldn't stay in that house. Too many memories. Too much weight. I took a job in Seattle. Remote software engineering. Same kind of work. Different company. Different life. I live in a small apartment now. 1 bedroom. Nothing fancy. But it's mine. No one knows who I am here. No one knows what happened. I'm just Garrett. Guy who codes. Drinks coffee. Goes for walks. And that's enough. Sometimes I think about Vanessa. Wonder if she really did love me once. Like she said. Maybe she did. But somewhere along the way, love turned into resentment. Resentment turned into contempt. And contempt turned into wishing I was dead. She wanted me to disappear so she could live off my ghost. Instead, she disappeared. Into a jail cell. Into her family's shame. Into the consequences of treating a human being like a paycheck. And me? I survived. More than that, I thrived. The life I built without her is the one she could have had with me. if she'd ever actually seen me as a person, as a partner, as someone worth keeping alive. But she didn't, so I gave her what she asked for. I disappeared. The difference is I came back. She never will.